with the Los Angeles Chargers franchise here on Madden 18. So I have not uploaded the series in like a week or so. So my apologies for that. So this week we have a bye week. And let's just say the bye week could not have come in any other time because we lost two of our stars. The first one is Rashad Pickney, our slot receiver. He broke his collarbone and will be out for 6 weeks. Hopefully he can recover quickly. He's had a great season so far. He's up there, probably top 5 in yards, I think. He has been pretty much electric this year, so we're going to need Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to step up of those receiver spots. Keenan Allen, he's had a quiet season, but last week, when Pickney went out, Keenan Allen played very well. So that's good. And Mike Williams, he's been playing well this season. I do want to see his stats, because I am kind of curious to see how he's doing about the halfway point. Yeah. So, it looks like he's going to have about the same amount of catches as last year. Probably the same amount of yards and the same amount of touchdowns. So, very similar season to last year, which is not a bad thing because Mike Williams had a really good year last year. Solid rookie year. And looking at Keenan Allen's stats, it's not quite as good as Mike Williams. Not going to lie. So, if we look there... Yeah, Season 1 was his best year of the series. Season 2, he had a bit of a down year. This year, it looks like he's definitely going to have more yards. Probably similar amount of catches, though, which is fine. So, the replacement at slot receiver will be Robbie Anderson. I am confident in Robbie Anderson. He's only made 3 catches this year, but 2 of them were for touchdowns, and 1 of them was in OT against the Bears Week 5, the game-winning touchdown, which he lost one of the other defenders. So, Robbie Anderson, I do have faith in him. If Robbie Anderson struggles, then there's always Aldrick Robinson, who has regressed, but he was really good in the slot last year when we replaced Neil Lee for him. He played phenomenally last year. I know he does not have crazy stats, but he only played like half the season, and he had 514 yards, which is really good for him. But the big thing is at quarterback. Mason Conway also got hurt. He won't be out as long as Rashad Pickney. He tore his shoulder, which is the exact same injury that Melvin Gordon had week 2. Now, Conway will be out for at most 2 weeks. Technically 3, because he got injured on, like, really early in that game. So, like, that, he missed almost the whole game, pretty much, against the Jaguars, which was last week. Hopefully, he can recover quickly, so he does not have to miss 2 games. But that's not a big deal, because 2 games isn't the end of a world compared to Pickney, so he's had a great year. Debatably MVP season, 2,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's been sacked 48 times. The offensive line really has not gotten their act together this whole series. I feel like the offensive line has played better, yet the stats really don't reflect it. Like Season 1, the offensive line was like just horrific. And I think we've improved the offensive line enough, but we're still getting a lot of sacks. So we are still 7-2. We did lose in a pretty close game. So let's look at the stats. Look up the rest of the team. Of course, we saw Conway and Pickney's. Conway's 3rd in yards and touchdowns for passing. Melvin Gordon's only played so much. Yeah, see, Rashad Pickney, 2nd in receiving yards, 3rd in receiving touchdowns. He's been great. Isn't that high on receptions, but Pickney's sort of like a big play guy. Probably 70 to 75 catches a year for him. I would say is probably reasonable. Where someone like a Mike Williams, I feel like can have more like a 90 catch potential season. So let's look at the stats. I didn't even go over Peyton Mankins, so I'll go over him now. So he's going to be the guy starting in place of Mason Conway. It's not going to be Trevon Boykin, because Trevon Boykin's been horrific. Because I have experimented a little with Trevon Boykin, but Peyton Mankins, he's not good. He's not good. Not good. Not good. Plain and simple. When he's played this year, he's not been good. He had a solid second half against the Jaguars, so there is a little bit of life there. But in the first half, he was horrendous. Against the Packers, he was horrendous, and Conway got hurt then too. So I'm more concerned for Peyton Mankins than Robbie Anderson. But anyway, Conway 25. We already saw his, and here's Peyton Mankins running the ball. Of course, Melvin Gordon's been out, but 6.3 yards a carry is great. 4.7 for Alvin Kamara is really good as well. 5 touchdowns for Alvin, 1 touchdown for Melvin Gordon, but 92 yards a game and 6.3 yards per carry is really good. So shout out to him there. So receiving, we saw probably everyone's, I guess. Mike Williams, 5 touchdowns. Keenan Allen, 3. Hunter Henry, he is on a contract year. He's been solid. He's not as good as Jackson Kelly from the Illinois series. If you watch the Illinois series, if you don't, you definitely should. But Jackson Kelly, the tight end, he is insane. Hunter Henry's not quite as good as Jackson Kelly, but Hunter Henry's a very good tight end. Blocking, yeah, watch out. 16 sacks allowed by Cam Robinson in his first year with the team. Joseph Beard is allowing the most. He was a first-round pick, wasn't he? Yeah, he's a pretty good player. Brennan Schmidt, don't know who he is. And then Cam Robinson's third in the NFL in sacks allowed, which is not a company you really want to be in. There's Harvey Bridges, the second overall pick, after Mason Conway. This guy's insane. If Mason Conway was not as good as he was, Chargers would have taken Harvey Bridges. But, yeah. Anyway, defensively, Leonard Worrell leading the team in tackles. Is he leading the NFL in tackles right now? He might be. And he is. Darren Lee in close second. But Leonard Worrell, he has improved so much. In his first game, he really struggled, and he's improved every single game. If we look at his stats, the interceptions, I mean, he played every game last year. He's only played 9 games so far this year because the team's only played 9 games this year. But Leonard Worrell, he makes so many big plays. I think all 3 of these interceptions were in late game situations. But 80 tackles, he might beat he's probably going to get higher of his last year total in just a few weeks. He already has more sacks. He's been rushing the passer very well. Interceptions, he's been solid in his career when it comes to that. Fumble forces, 6 fumble forces. This is what I've liked the most about him this year. He had 3 last year, but he's had 1 in 2 out of every 3 games. Actually, that's not true. I know he had 2 last week, but mathematically, he also has 2 fumble recoveries. He has been so dominant. Marcus Williams, he's played solid. He hasn't really made a lot of big plays. He did have an interception. That was week 2. We could use a safety in the draft. He has forced 5 fumbles. I need to turn the fumble slider down. But he's forced a lot of fumbles. Bernard Clark for rookie, 3rd in tackles. Tied, I believe, for 1st with tackles for a loss. Yes. No, what am I doing? No! Anyway, 1.5 sacks, 1 picks. I do want to see him rushing the passer a little more, but he's had a solid rookie year. Trey Boston, I feel like year 1 was definitely his best year. Did he make the Pro Bowl that year? He must have. He definitely must have. Yeah, Pro Bowl. But, no, not season's career. Tackles, it might probably be his career high. Interceptions, I feel like the thing with Trey Boston is he's not really made the amount of big plays the past 2 seasons as he did in the first season of the series, where he was just lighting it up. 6 interceptions, but he's still been solid. Rashard Street, he has been great as of the past few weeks. Solid rookie year, but nothing spectacular. But this season, so far, he's been great. 8 tackles for a loss, 6 sacks, which is more than last year. I do want to, see more fumble forces, but, yeah, he's been very solid. Desmond King, 2 interceptions. Were they both last game? I think so. Desmond King, he's a solid nickel corner. I think he's still playing nickel, yeah. He's not great, but he's definitely a solid player. Joey Bosa, he's had a bit of a down year. 8.5 sacks is still really good. But, compared to the first 2 seasons of the series, 24 sacks season 1. Season 2, 36.5. So he's definitely not quite the impact from the first 2 seasons. Only 4 tackles for a loss. But Joey Bosa is still very solid. No fumble forces. Last year he had 7. The year before he had 3. So last year was definitely his best year. The year before he was great. This year he's been a little quieter. I think he can rebound though. I think he'll be great the second half of the year. Solomon Thomas, I think he's been very underrated. 4 sacks, 34 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 fumble recoveries. I think he's been a great run stopper in his first year with the squad. Probably an unrealistic pickup. I tried to make the series realistic, but I think the season 2 offseason really, was unrealistic. Trading for the number 1 pick, all we had to do was trade, the 13th pick and a scrub middle linebacker. Trading for Cam Robinson. Trading for Solomon Thomas. Trading away Phillip Rivers. Next, we have Tre'Davious White. He had a great first 4 games, and he's been solid after that. He was very good at the beginning of the season. And after that, he's been solid. But Tre'Davious White has had a great year. Great season. 2 fumble forces, 4 interceptions, all of which I think were in the first 4 games. But Tre'Davious White has been really good. Happy we picked him up at the middle of last season. Melvin Ingram, 6 sacks. Like to see more, I guess. Jatavis Brown's in a contract year. Don't really know what I'm going to do with him. Jocko Stanley, he's been solid. I feel like he could be better, but he's a rookie. What do you expect? Kicking. Brody Body's kicking stats have disappeared. Brody Body's not been great this year. Let's just say that. Punting and Drew Kazer's been a beast. Awards. This is when it gets interesting. Mason Conway was first in MVP last week. Now he's second. Probably not going to win it because of his injury, but he has been phenomenal. Offensive Player of the Year, currently Tom Brady as well. Conway in second. Joey Foote is another rookie we do need to watch out for. I don't really care if Mason Conway wins MVP or Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, I'd like to see him win that, but Rookie of the Year I really do care about for him. Defensive Player of the Year has been Leonard Worrell. That's hard to disagree with. Leonard Worrell has been so good, so dominant. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Mason Conway, Rashad Pickney at number 3. Joey Foote in between those spots. I don't think we do have a starting center, but centers don't really win those types of awards. Bernard Clark, second for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't quite think he's been like number 2. I feel like the past 2 seasons, the defensive rookies have not had great impacts. Like Leonard Worrell won it last year. He was solid last year, but not great. Jocko Stanley at number 8, best quarterback Conway. Best running back Kamara at number 6, and he's always played like half the games. Best receiver currently in the hands of Rashad Pickney. Hopefully Mike Williams or Keenan Allen can catch up because Pickney's hurt. Kenny Galladay at number 10. Best offensive lineman, none. Best defensive lineman, Joey Bosa at number 6. Linebacker, Leonard Worrell. Defensive back, Tre'Davious White. And kicker, of course. I haven't shown you guys the draft class yet, so here's a look at it. We obviously don't need a quarterback. I scouted them anyway, just out of curiosity. And we do need a backup anyway. So Christian Wilcox in the 4th round could be a good option. Running back, we don't need a starter or backup really. So running back really is not something we need to draft. Receiver, there are some great receivers. Like Adrian Ziegler, who's only 21. Spencer Bailey, who's also only 21. Are both really tempting options, despite the fact that we have a very good receiving core of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Rashad Pickney. Tight end. Now, Hunter Henry is on a contract year, so we could look for a tight end. This is probably my favorite. Tyshawn Hopman from Texas. Offensive line, we need as much offensive line as we can get. We have 5 young players who could probably be our long-term starters, but just need to scout them anyway. Defensive line, we really don't need defensive line. I'm happy with the defensive line. This defensive line class is really bad. Linebacker, we could use if we don't bring back Jatavis Brown. He's also on a contract here. Carroll Poole, he looks really good. Middle linebacker, there are some good ones. Derek Patterson, Tyson Stevens, but of course, we have Leonard Worrell there. Zach Brink, Austin Allen, they both look good. Corner. Corner is really an interesting position. I don't really know what I'm going to look for in the offseason at corner. Alan Turner, his top 3 skills are alright, but he is a guaranteed superstar development. Robin Pierce looks solid. Deion Cohen looks solid. 3 safeties. We could use a safety. So C.T. Cooper, this is probably the number 1 guy on my board. Hayden Still also looks good. Coco Bostic looks good. But here's my draft board. The reason why I have Cooper number 1 is because we need a safety. We need a safety. In case Trey Boston or Marcus Williams do not do good in the second half of the year. I don't know if there was another Week 8 superstar. Not sure. Is there? Maybe Miami right tackle Lewis Jackson. Yeah, he's someone who I like. I might want to get him if Cam Robinson continues to struggle. But that's pretty much it. Also, let's look at the contracts. So the big ones are Hunter Henry and Jatavis Brown. We already brought back Joey Bosa. Drew Kaser, we do need to bring him back. These guys, most of them I'm not really concerned about. So that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like button and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.